Howdy, howdy, everybody out there in YouTube land. Here we go. We got our hands right over here. We're gonna tip it up just a little bit more. That way our hands are perfect. Okay. We don't want this little screen to, have our hands hiding behind it or whatnot. So we did a short video talking about controlling one card. We're gonna go into a little bit more detail. And this might not necessarily be necessary for some of you, but for some of the beginners who are just getting into card manipulation, we're just going to talk very briefly about the nuanced things that go into it and some of the alternative methods that you have to it. So the first one that we're going to talk about is the overhand shuffle. So first we're just going to do an overhand shuffle. Basically, when you're holding the deck normally, you're going to tip it up on its side, top end to end, and the hand is just going to catch. You're going to peel off with your thumb, and your fingers are just going to catch it. Okay, and that's just your basic overhand shuffle. You could take your thumb, you could let some of the cards fall. You can even shuffle into the center, and that's going to get you a decent shuffle. Now, let me show you what it looks like if you're doing a false shuffle, or if you're just trying to maintain the top card. So here we have it. You're just going to peel off that top card. You're going to drop it to the bottom. Okay? And now when you pick up the cards, you're just going to let that bottom card stay. And you're just going to keep going like this. And you can even do the same idea that we just talked about. Okay? And if you do it fast enough, not even going to know, right? Now when you're ready, this card's on the bottom. You could use it from the bottom. There's different techniques for that. We're not going to go into that today, but when you want to bring it back to the top, you just grab the bottom, and it's all going to come back to the top. Beautiful. Now, obviously, if it's the same card, you're not going to notice any difference until you turn it over. So there's a couple of different ideas that we have for that. Idea number one. Okay, we're going to go with two different ideas, two different alternatives to just the basic control. When you bring it back to the top, instead of going all the way to the bottom, you're just going to retain two cards. So then you can do a double lift for that card, and then you can take this card, and now the card's on top. Alternatively, instead of doing the double on top like that, you can do the double after you've made it land. That way you can show it's not the top card, it's not the bottom card, but if we snap our fingers, there's your card. So there's one idea that you have for that. A couple of ideas that you have to go with for controlling the card from the top to the bottom. Next, we're going to talk about a good riffle. Okay? Get about half the cards in one hand, half the cards in the other. Grab here. Get a good bend in the cards, slowly letting them drop until you have they're interwoven together. Then you give it a little bit of a bridge and let them fall down like so. The more you do it, the more you're going to get an arc in your deck, so I definitely would recommend doing a little bit of reverse arc on it, allowing it to open up again. When you have a good deck of cards that's broken in pretty good, you can do this over and over again, and it's basically not even gonna notice. Okay, so let's talk about how to control that card here. Let's say you have the card over here. You want it to be on top. It's on top. Let's say you want it to be second from the top. Same idea as what we were just talking about with the controlling the card. You're just going to retain that card and let it drop second. And again, you can have it be top with a double lift. Or you can show that card, place the top card in there, and now it's back to the top. Or any number of combinations of things that you'd want to do. So whether you let it fall first or second, or if you want to load it up, let's say you got 4 people playing in the game. Okay? So then how that would look is if you would have 3 cards on top. So let's see if I did it right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've just given myself the card that I needed. So once you get good at it, there's a lot of things that you can do. So I'll just go with that. Now, here's something that I was working on, but I'm not as good with it as I would like to be. So basically, it's a one-handed cut. So I typically can do the one-handed cut pretty decent with one hand, obviously, because it's one-handed cut. Now here's the question. This is what I was working on. Can I do the one-handed cut with the retention of the top card? And the answer is kind of. So basically in this case what you're trying to do is get a little bit of a smaller packet so that when you do your split and you're pushing it in, you're basically going to run out of cards, and that's going to leave more cards on that side, which is going to allow you to retain the top card even with a one-handed cut. Very good. So just keep all that in mind. Beautiful, right? Now the last thing we want to talk about is cutting the cards. A simple cut. What I did in the performance, this is what a normal cut would look like to the table. Simple enough. This is what a false cut looks like to the table, and I'll show you. The one that I do in my hand is a little bit of a flourish added to it, and if you're adding enough misdirection or just talking, the chances of them catching anything is very slim. So even if I were to do it, you know, like that. I'm showing you the bottom card. That's the 6. Tapping them together, putting them over the top, and then turning the deck over, and it's on top. Same idea. Now, if you didn't want to go that fancy with it, that's fine. You can just rotate it, however you want to do it. I like the idea because there's another flourish that I've been working on that requires you basically have the cards here. Nope, see, my right hand isn't quite where I want it to be. Basically, you do this move, but you open up the cards into a flop, and then you close them up, basically. So that's the idea that I'm going with, is that I'm just taking the top packet, opening it up, dropping the bottom packet back where it was, and then rotating it back. But I'm giving you the idea that I've cut the deck, and you can go into a spread, however you want to do it. It's great. So that's the idea. But if you're doing it to the table, ooh, it's just a beautiful thing. Tap, tap, drop, drop. There it is. It's a beautiful cut. Now I'm going to show you a couple of other cuts, but I might not teach you here today all of the things that go into it. Heard of the swivel cut? It's like a running cut in the hands. Okay. You also have the option to do a normal one, just to do a normal swivel, cut it over. Then you want to grab with your thumb to thumb, twist it over. Then you want to do finger to finger, twist it over. And then what I like to do at the end is I like to open it up like this and then close it. Beautiful. But that's not a fake cut, right? This is what it would look like as a fake cut. You're just doing a swivel running cut. This is what it looks like as a fake cut. Remember, we've added that little bit of a twist in there. Then we've added another twist in there. And then we dropped the top packet that was the original top packet there. But not only is this a false cut, but a retention of the top card, it also retains the entire order. Adversely, you could also do something similar to that, which is instead of doing the middle packet, you can do the top, instead of doing the bottom packet, you can do the middle packet and then still retain it into a nice little maneuver like that. And that's just going to retain your top card. So anytime that you're doing anything, let's talk about like magic here. So we just picked a card at random. It's an ace. Fantastic. Okay, we're just going to give the deck a nice little shuffle. And then I should be able to find your card. Nope, that's not your card. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, let's see here. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we found it. Let's see if we can put it into the center. Now let's see if we can cut directly to that card. Okay, so that's how you can add those three things together. You can play around with it. You can really build up the suspense, or you can use them individually. But these are great skills that you're going to want to have in your arsenal. And so there you have three easy beginner card control techniques to help you start your magical journey or to help build your foundation. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed, and remember, stay positive, stay active, and stay awesome. And we'll see you in the next one.